Up until now, you've seen a lot of code that looks very similar to this. Border being the property, 1 pixel solid black. You might not really completely understand what's going on there, so we're going to go over this. First, let's look at a full border. To add a border, we use the border width, border color, and border style properties. First, we have border width, and that accepts thin, medium, or thick, or your custom length. So thin is a thin border, medium is a medium border, thick is a thick border, and length is your border. You quite often see in my examples that I use 1 pixel, and that's what my length would be. Now we can add a border width to pretty much anything, and it's not going to show up unless we actually have a border style. So let's look at border style. Its values are none, solid, dotted, ridge, inset, double, groove, outset, dashed. And to go over these real quick, none means there's no border. Solid is the solid border that you see all the way around here. Dotted is a dotted line. I'm sorry, you probably can't really see this too terribly well. But there is a dotted line that goes around this one. Ridge is a 3D ridged border that needs a border color to be defined in order for it to work. Inset is another 3D one. Again, it needs a color. Double, you might maybe be able to see this one here, is basically 2 solid borders all the way around it. Groove is, again, another 3D effect, but it displays opposite of ridge. Outset is a 3D outset border, and that again needs a border color to be defined. And then we have dashed, and dashed is a border that uses dashes all the way around it, like this. So the 3D ones, such as ridge, inset, groove, and outset, you're going to want to create a much thicker border width. If you want to try this yourself, after this class, go and create a border around an element and give it a border width of 10 pixels and the border style of ridge, inset, groove, or outset. Now after that, we're going to want to add a border color. And this accepts either a color, so blue, red, white, green, etc., or a hex. So number sign F00 would be red, or FFF, which is white, or 000, which is black. Let's take a look at some code real quick. We've got class red border, so we have our border width, 2 pixels, border style, dashed, and our border color. We just set that to red. And what that displays is this dash red border that's 2 pixels thick. Now before we go into styling individual sides, know that you can style each side by giving each property up to 4 values, and they go in order from top, right, bottom, left, and that's a clockwise order. Now if we modify the CSS from above, we have border width, 2 pixels, 10 pixels, 5 pixels, and we just kept the style as dash and color as red, so we don't have to worry about this right now. But we have 2 pixel, 10 pixel, and 5 pixel. Now we only specified 3 out of 4. So now if we go by the rule, top, right, bottom, left, again that's going clockwise around it. We have a 2 pixel top, a 10 pixel right, and a 5 pixel bottom, but we didn't specify a 4th value here. The 4th one is 10 pixels, but we didn't write that. And whichever ones we do not write, it mimics the opposite side. So 10 pixels is our right border. We don't have a left border, so this is where left would go. So it's going to mirror its opposite side. So if 4 values are given to the border width, border style, and border color properties, then all 4 sides are styled. If 3 values are given, then the top and bottom are what you specified, and then left and right sides are what you specified in the second option being your middle one. And if 2 values are given, then the first value, which is in our example 2 pixels, is going to be your top and bottom, and your second value, which is 10 pixels, is going to be your left and right. So you see how this mirrors. We have a top here. If there's only 2 values declared, then the first one is your top and bottom, and your second one is your left and right, and they're going to mirror each other. So again, we have top. The top is going to be 2 pixels. Bottom is going to be 2 pixels. And then we have 10 pixels. That means both left and right side are going to be 10 pixels. The same rule applies with border style and border color. However, you probably won't use this as much with style and color as you will with border width. Now if you want to style individual sides instead of doing what we did, which can actually be pretty complex, we can apply the border side property to each side. Now here's an example of left. We write border dash left dash width. Same thing with style and color. Now if we wanted to do the right one, we'd go right. If we wanted to change the top, we would just write top or bottom. Now that seems a lot easier than using the shorthand method. And really all we did is we added the side name in between the border and the property. So if we look at an example here, we got a dummy div element, class is equal to left and right, and it just says look at the sides. So we have left. Well, what is left? Left is 2 pixel solid blue. And that's all for the left border. So look at that, we have a 2 pixel solid blue border. And we also have the right class. This one is a 5 pixel dotted red border. And over here we have a 5 pixel dotted red border. Now just so you know that the different side names are top, right, bottom, and left. That's the official name. And that's actually what you want to write. So you don't want to write top, side, floor, and then left. Although top and left would be appropriate, side and floor not correct at all. Now shorthand method is 100% optional, and that's for 2 reasons. The first reason is that it's a little more complicated at this point in time, and if you have any troubles with the border stuff from above, then this might make things a little bit more complex for you, and you might want to avoid doing it. You know, just until you get a grasp of what's going on. And secondly, it's because browsers actually break down the shorthand method anyways into a long method. So a short method looks like this. You got your selector, you got your border, width, style, color. And I'll show you my example above. We got border, width being 1 pixel, style being solid, and color being black. Now let's say you want to shorthand write just one of the sides. Instead of writing border, we would add the side with a dash between the words. Like so, border, right, and then we do our shorthand. So we have our width, our style, and our color. We could do border right, we could do border left, border top, or even border bottom. All 4 are perfectly fine. And that would give us our 4 pixel wide groove styled green border along the right side of our page. Now again, if shorthand is a little bit too complicated or it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you at this point in time, please don't use it. I'm not trying to complicate things. I'm not trying to make things too difficult for you. And like I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a little bit more time and doing this, because your browser eventually is going to have to stretch out your shorthand method and make it long anyways.